Hi everyone, it's JWhitneyArt, or Jessica, as you're more than welcome to call me, and we are on day 7 of Inktober. We're back in full effect, and I actually did a combination of day 7 Inktober and day 6 Peachtober. Day 7 Inktober is trip, and day 7, is that what I said? Day 7 is trip. Day 6 Peachtober is trees. I was supposed to do that yesterday, but I didn't. Then I went to kind of fill in the sketch for this prompt for trip. I said, I could put some trees in the background and incorporate, day 6. So that's exactly what I did. And you'll get to see the sketch kind of as I move forward. I live in Augusta, Georgia. As you know, if you saw my video about just doing some drawing by the Savannah River a few days ago, there's a lot of woodsy areas near my house, and I was driving home one day. This was about a month ago, probably before the prompt list came out. And you can see here that one of my trees is a little oblong. Well, there are a lot of trees. Like I said, there's a really woodsy area near my house. And I looked over one day, and one of the trees kind of looked like a woman was doing a handstand. I know that sounds very strange. And now that I said it out loud, I hope you don't think that I'm a weirdo. But it just kind of inspired me to make the tree a little bit more obviously look kind of human. So it's just the legs there, or maybe the arms are like the roots, and then the legs are the branches, and the hips kind of areas like the trunk of the tree, or like the part that is the main body, connecting it to the ground and up into the sky. It's hard to explain it, but I think that I captured it pretty well. So I decided to go with I think they're like a Volkswagen bus, like the Scooby-Doo van. That was kind of my thought process. I love road trips. Road trips are my jam. So this was kind of me, I guess, stepping into something that I would really love to do, and a little of this was inspired by a trip I went on with my sister and some close family friends. They took, all of the cousins on a camping trip, and it was a lot of fun. It was great. I think that was probably my first time camping. We all ended up sleeping in the RV anyways, because it was really, it's a little difficult to just say that you'll sleep outside for the first time. And I was like, if there's room in the RV, I would love to sleep in the RV. But it was a lot of fun. We went and, jumped in the river and all kinds of just being outside, being in nature. It was a lot of fun. But it kind of, that trip or that experience kind of inspired this piece. I don't remember the road trip aspect of that camping trip, but I do remember, sleeping in the RV. Anywho, I would love to go on a road trip. I'm thinking about, and this might be completely far-fetched, but if I had to choose, I think I would choose to kind of live off grid. I say that as, I have all this electricity and indoor plumbing and, kitchen kind of situation. but I love being in nature. I used to live in Hawaii, and I lived there with my mom and my children. We discovered camping on the beach probably like 2 years into us being there. We did Christmas on Christmas Eve because we wanted to go camping on Christmas. So it was amazing. We camp on the beach, and there's just nothing like it. There's absolutely nothing like it. I love taking the drive. I loved setting up. I loved going on the little hikes with our pets and everything. I'm a big fan of camping, an even bigger fan of camping on the beach. So this illustration isn't necessarily, I didn't even think about camping on the beach until I'm talking about it right now, but this illustration is just kind of the journey to, wherever you're going to end up. And I have a family of 6. There's 3 adults and 3 kids, and then I have 4 dogs. So this vehicle is ideal. Like I said, I could see myself just completely, getting rid of my extra belongings, going really minimal, and living off grid. I could live in an RV. I think I could do that. I really do. I truly do. So kind of enough about the inspiration of this piece, and we can talk about the piece a little bit. I'm not going to say that the concept of this did not come to me until I was actually in the sketching process. I, thought to myself, what kind of vehicle would be my ideal road trip vehicle? And it was this Volkswagen bus. So I looked up a picture to kind of get some schematics of how this van works. So I found a picture that I could use kind of for reference, but I made a lot of this up, just kind of the shape of, the vehicle and kind of how the shadows and highlights and stuff would work. And then I said, we'll have it on the road, and in order for me to incorporate trees, there will have to be trees. So I put, like 4 obvious trees. 2 of them are, my lady trees, and then the others are just normal trees. And you'll see kind of as I do, the washes and the inking process, that I had to kind of figure out how to push the landscape portion of this to the back. One of the things that I struggle with, because I don't make a lot of landscape art, is kind of giving the pieces dimension. How do I make it look like everything is not incredibly flat? And that was the struggle of this piece, is to make everything not look super flat. So I'm going over, I think this is the second wash that I'm doing here, but just darkening up certain areas to make the RV or the bus look like it exists in space. When I was illustrating this, it just kind of dawned on me that probably the reason that these prompt lists are difficult is because they aren't character focused. I'm sure that if like I was saying yesterday, I'm not putting stories behind these prompts. I'm just trying to keep it kind of literal to kind of expand how I make art. And if I had built, and I think this is what I'm going to do next year, because I think it would make it a little bit easier for me, and it would make it feel a little bit more cohesive. None of these pieces kind of fit in the same universe so far. They're all incredibly their own thing. Not only that, I don't know if they even look like they come from the same artist. With painting flowers, it was a little arbitrary. It was for no specific reason but to be painting flowers. So I think next year what I'll do is kind of give the prompts a story. Spend the time before October starts working on a character. and giving her, you know, some objectives, giving her tasks, giving her activities, giving her faults, giving her strengths and weaknesses, finding ways to really explore the character and build a universe around her. I'm not going to do it for this year because I am struggling to get this done. I just posted a status about this on Facebook that I'm really doing nothing all day and then staying up till 5 o'clock in the morning multitasking. I did homework. I've been, you know, organizing, doing some, you know, just random daily sketching, doing the painting, and doing, you know, the editing so that I can get these videos out every day. But I don't do much during the day. I feel like I've got a little bit to work on as far as, you know, getting adequate sleep. Like the other day I skipped a prompt because I didn't get enough sleep. So I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work on kind of redirecting, you know, my focus. I don't know, my dog just came in here. She's like huffing and puffing. Okay, Sandra. I'll get you some water in a minute. Give me a second. Okay. I don't know what that's about. So at this point in the illustration, I'm adding a color wash to the RV just to further, you know, create a little bit of distance between the vehicle and the hold on one second. Okay, I'm back. So I was saying that I was giving the bus some a color wash so that I can create distance between the foreground of the painting and everything that's happening in the back where the trees are. So I decided to take a different paintbrush to kind of color in the trees because I wanted them to have like a little bit more texture than kind of the round brush was giving them. And also, you know, the flat brush would kind of, it felt like it would cover it a lot easier. But you see how, you know, you can kind of see some strokes in that to give it, you know, the wood texture. And that was kind of the goal. But I struggled with kind of even, you know, how do I use this type of brush after I've been so used to using the round brush. The round brush is really versatile, so you don't necessarily have to try to use any other brushes, but you know, I wanted to give myself a little bit of, you know, a little bit more variety with you know, the brushing. So I used that one and it did a good job of cover. I had to kind of rework my thought process about using, you know, this different type of brush, but I got the hang of it pretty quickly. I wanted the tree on the right, the one I'm working on right now, to be the most prominent. So I let that one be a little bit lighter than the ones in the back. And as I was coloring it, I was just kind of thinking to myself, this area seems a little bit too lit. So I painted the tree and then I painted more of the kind of surrounding area. Now I'm just going through and, you know, giving deliberate texture to this tree kind of in the foreground. I had a little bit of issue kind of getting the trees to look like they're separate from the bus, but also that, you know, they all go together in one cohesive piece. So now I'm moving on to the inking process, which kind of is becoming my favorite part. I thought I was going to struggle working with the dip pen and working with ink in general, but I'm enjoying it. It's a lot of fun. And even using the glass dip pen for yesterday's prompt, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that a lot. I think varying the material that you use is another really cool way of making daily sketches not seem so monotonous. clean up a big ink spot. Sometimes the pen dip, or the dip pen will drip big spots of ink on the paper, and I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. I don't want to say wrong, but what it is that I'm doing to make it the ink kind of flood in that way, in, you know, where it just flooded on the bus wasn't that big of a deal because I was able to kind of wipe it up and it just looked like it was a part of the vent. But sometimes, man, I just foresee if it's going to be an issue, it's going to be a big issue. But the dip pen can only hold so much ink, so it'll only be as much as you could fit on the dip pen. You'll have to excuse me not being in frame for, you know, some of this. I had to switch from my camera to my phone because my memory card ran out. Dang it. I wasn't anticipating that the way that I probably should have been. I'm gonna have to get another memory card because I definitely prefer recording on my camera. Then everything is all in the same place. I just like the way the camera picks up so much more. But I have been using the time-lapse feature on my phone, and that definitely saves a lot of space. And especially if you speed up your work anyways, you might as well just use the time-lapse feature, because it'll turn a 10-minute video into a 20-second video, and it can't even tell. So now I'm going in with the dip pen on the background, giving more texture to the trees on top of the paint strokes that I had just done with the dip pen. So I think one of the other things that I probably should do is do kind of some studying on how to draw things in nature, how to paint items in nature. I'm not going to keep beating myself up about not being good about this. If I want to be good about this, I can definitely, you know, look into resources on how to, you know, take courses or just find ways to do studies and get some practice in to get better at backgrounds, if that's something that I want to do. A lot of my art is about characters, so it might not be necessary, but if I were to do a challenge like this, I should probably have a little bit better of an understanding on how these things work. So I switched over to the glass dip pen for this part of the video because I was having a hard time getting the dip pen that I was using to flow in multiple directions. The glass pen kind of has like a ball, kind of like a ball pen nib. I don't know what else to call it. It's not flat like the dip pen with the nibs. It's more rounded, so it's kind of easier to use it in all directions without having to, you know, reposition your arm. If I wasn't recording, I think it would be a little bit easier to kind of maneuver in this painting. But we are pretty much at the end, last minute shadows on the road, and it is all done. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I tried to be a little bit more positive than my last video, but yeah, this was fun. This fun to stretch your creative process, fun to stretch your just kind of what kind of art that you make. And I really appreciate you guys for coming, making it all the way to the end. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and be sure to share with a friend, share with a family member, share with your mom. Your mom would love this, I'm sure. I'm positive. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.